Hey, it's KnightMD, I'm back, and after more than a year playing what will go down as this generation's best football game, mostly thanks to the gorgeous visual PC mods, and helped by the fact I've grown extremely comfortable with full manual controls, which is by far the best way to enjoy the game, I thought, what better way to celebrate this game's beauty than a good old-fashioned countdown of the most beautiful full manual goals scored over the past year, all played against a superstar or legend opponent. At number 10, these are what I call the impossible angle goals. They're impossible because without full manual controls, almost 100% of the time, a ball aimed at this tight angle will be saved on the higher difficulty levels, so much that it's only worth taking this shot if you're on full manual shooting, where the ball can literally end anywhere you aim it, including the tight spot between the keeper's hands and the post. Obviously, I've been squeezing in those goals quite frequently since I shifted to FUMA, with many beautiful goals to pick from, including even headers from the tightest of angles. But my top pick for this kind of goal would have to be this lovely Firmino goal, who drops deep as a false number 9 to intercept a pass, then pushes forward with a calculated dribble between the lines while pushing the ball one last time to the side before finishing it off all the way across the keeper. The angle is just so acute and tight around the keeper's outstretched arm that I honestly don't think I can score it again if I wanted to. At number 9, this category celebrates what I call realistic looking goals. Everything in these goals are eye-pleasing, whether it's a smooth cross and finish or the off-ball player movement, like Bale's inward movement here to the edge of the box to become a valid passing option for a brilliant manual finish, or just the realistic physics of a swerving ball when crossed by a player with the pinpoint crossing trait that makes the goal so beautiful to look at. Or sometimes it's just a low camera angle that makes an ordinary goal look so much more realistic. Or maybe it's everything about the camera angle, the lighting, and a satisfying manual shot that smoothly glides into the net. For this category, I actually prefer to go through my most recent games the last 2 months, where I've switched to playing at -1 speed for a much more realistic pace. And I've been going for 20-minute matches, which I feel works great for that pace, giving you enough time to create chances when playing against the Legend AI. I'll make a video down the line about just how satisfying the slower setup has been for me, but for my top pick in this category, I went for a rather simple goal. Robbo goes for an L1 pass to Hendo, then bursts forward to become a passing option for Mane's layover, then finds Trent with a pinpoint cross into the box. It's such a smooth symphony of a goal, whether it's the way Robbo realistically uses his momentum to brush past the last defender, or how Trent's offensive playstyle trait guides his off-ball movement into the danger zone. Which brings us to our next category. At number 8 are open play header goals, which any manual player knows are pretty much the toughest to pull off when first learning the manual ways. It's not just about nailing the power and direction of your cross. You'll probably need purposeful off-ball tactical movement along the sides, which the attacking fullback advanced instruction provides. And that pairs well with the centering targets instruction for more heads in the box. Even better if your attacking fullbacks have the pinpoint crossing trait, which optimizes their delivery by swerving the ball into your player's path in the box and using any excess power you apply into more height on your manual cross so it lands on your player's head. Your attacking fullback himself can have an offensive player style and venture into the box to be on the receiving end of those crosses. Seriously, it's mind-blowing how huge a step back eFootball 2022 became without the nuanced, sophisticated off-ball player movement of PES 2021, guided by player traits, player styles, and advanced instructions that have all been removed in the new game. So for my top pick for the header goal of the year, do I just go for the most realistic looking header? But I mean, it's hard enough to manually direct headers. So maybe I should go for this precision Cristiano header with his signature high jump and exquisite placement. But if we're prioritizing placement, this is an even further away header which Firmino very delicately heads beyond the Legend AI keeper's reach. To be completely honest, what I found most appealing about header goals are the ball physics of the manual play involved in making it happen. Now it's only fitting that my choice for best full manual open play header goal will go to this absolutely stunning pinpoint bender of a cross, and the way it so realistically bounces off Benzema's head, tipping right over De Gea, who takes a few steps forward to meet it. Just beautiful. Before I move on to the next categories, which boast some of the most beautiful goals you can score in PES, I wanted to give a short word about the sponsor of this video, which is none other than the game everyone is playing, which is Raid Shadow Legends, an RPG with over 600 champions from unique factions, each with their own history in the world of Teleria. The newest boss is actually a Hydra, with different heads, each one a complete boss battle, including the Head of Blight, which creates a poison cloud and needs to be taken out early on. And then there's the Head of Torment, that uses fear to make you skip turns, so you need to hide from it using champions with veil skills. Raid's also giving away a super limited edition champion to every player in the game. Between now and January 28th, esports legend and Navi superstar Simple's limited edition champ is available for free to both new and old players in Raid. If you miss that date, you miss out forever. So hit the link in the description or scan my QR code and you'll get a free starter pack worth almost $30 to kickstart your game, available only for new players. We're talking a free champion, Tyrell, 200,000 silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in the game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. So thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. At number 7, this is going to be a short and sweet one, but there's a very delicate degree of finesse involved in using a lob or a lofted ball to score a goal, especially if a sweet skill sets up the chance to face off against the keeper, where you still need to get your aim and power right. The best thing about lobbing in PES is that you need to take the way you control the ball into consideration. In this play, the ball bounces high, but then Benzema's second touch controls it before the lob. Compare that to the way Rashford uses the bounce to take a half volley lob over Ederson. But who am I kidding here? My best lob of the year will have to be one of those scored against Manuel Neuer, who has a very Neuer-specific trait that sees him push forward way deep into the pitch, making it very easy to manually lob him when you assume control of the ball. The hardest thing about these goals is getting the manual aim right, all the way from your half of the pitch. And yes, these goals are exclusive to manual controls because you absolutely need free, unhampered use of your power bar when pressing that lob button. With that being said, my number 1 best lofted goal is not only the farthest one I've scored, but also a glorious first-time effort by Hakim Ziyech that ended up winning me the Champions League final. So yeah, take that Neuer and stop leaving your goal against manual players. At number 6, let's talk about free kicks. I won't bore you with many choices. Free kicks look beautiful in PES, but they're honestly way too easy to score, so much that I'd rather take a free kick than a penalty in this game. So my choice for my favorite free kick would come down to one of 4 styles. There's the standard swerving free kick from a tight angle, where you just lift it over the wall. There's the trickier variety with further away free kicks, where you need to apply more forward speed with a much more accurate aim to score without using a player trait. And speaking of which, there's the third type, which is the dipping trait free kick, a fan favorite on this channel. I mean, yeah, I get how visually appealing they are, but if you time your tap right, there's almost only one outcome for this type of free kick. So yes, I do think they're the easiest to pull off. And finally, there's my favorite and the most difficult to pull off, and that's the knuckle free kick. But by definition, those involve very little skill, and ultimately, it's down to luck, which pushes the ball into an unpredictable trajectory. So my choice for favorite free kick scored would have been this unstoppable, impeccably placed stunner by Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's the full package. It moves up, then dips down, while swerving away from the keeper, who doesn't even have time to jump. And look at that placement, almost touching both the crossbar and the post. Now combine this impeccable placement with a whole lot more pace, and you have this year's best free kick winner. I simply had no right scoring from this far out using this technique, but the injection of pace, combined with just the right swerve and placement, makes this free kick an absolute delight to look at. At number 5, we have set piece goals. Now, I won't be including corner goals because frankly, I've scored like a million with my method that I posted about before, and it's starting to feel a little too formulaic, where I feel there isn't much skill involved with them anymore. They're still nowhere as guaranteed as direct free kicks, but the conversion rate with my method is still too high. Instead, I'm mainly talking here about free kicks delivered into the box. Those actually require a decent amount of skill to deliver the ball with proper power and aim, but more importantly, you need precision with your first time manual aim to the sides of the goal. And because the further away you are, the harder and more rewarding it is, my pick for best set piece goal goes to this incredible header by Timo Werner. It's not just the distance the ball travels before he gets to it, but also how he leaps from the penalty spot and the way it skids off his head and swerves into the net. At number 4, we're talking about the best team play goals. Those are typically goals that involve many manual passes throughout the whole team with clever off and on ball player runs, which ultimately end up with the ball behind the net. Those are actually quite rare to pull off because on manual controls, plenty can go wrong with every single pass you make, and when it all comes together so perfectly, it's just a completely new level of satisfaction. So my pick for best team play goal of the year starts way in the back with Alaba intercepting the AI's long play, then Carvajal finding Hazard with a beautiful long manual play, who feeds Mendy's overlapping run, then a ground pass to Benzema with a cheeky touch to an overlapping Modric with a cool finish. It's just a goal that highlights everything I love about the sophisticated off-ball player movement in PES, and the impact a soft manual touch will have on your game. At number 3, we've already seen many beautiful manual assists to set up beautiful goals, and this category is about the best manual assist. Now you've already seen plenty of those glorious manual assists in my previous videos. The assist doesn't have to involve use of a skill move. It can be just a clever and calculated run that pulls defenders in, followed by a precisely weighted manual pass through a tight gap. The whole idea of the assist is to do the best job setting up the goal scorer for success, by laying it off into his run around the correct side of the defender and onto the striker's stronger foot. Generally speaking, the longer the ball needs to traverse, the more impressive the assist. These kind of assists can only be done with manual controls, since an assisted pass wouldn't make it past the players blocking the way. But as impressive as long drive manual assists are, there also needs to be a degree of finesse involved in the pass. So the wider the angle and the more weighted the assist, the more impressive I find it to be. So with that note, in my opinion, the hardest and best looking assists use the outside curler pass, swerving the ball perfectly into the striker's path, who even gets time for a touch before tripping it over the keeper. So with that, my favorite assist goes to Thiago's beautiful long-range curler into Diogo's path, giving him just enough room to beautifully chip De Gea. It's the kind of assist that needs a combination of perfect manual aim and power, combined with the correct set of player traits and attributes, which is why I love this game. At number 2, this is what you've been waiting for, the Long Ranger beauties only possible on full manual shooting. Honestly though, after years of playing on assists, and other than the curling finesse Long Ranger, I wouldn't even waste time taking a straight shot on target before switching to manual shooting. Between these screamers and the next category, these are probably the most beautiful goals you'll see scored in this game, and they're always a sight to behold when you pull them off. Now a crucial component that makes these goals so beautiful to look at in PES is the game's exquisite ball physics that leads to a satisfying flight of the ball on its way to the back of the net, and its trajectory depends on the stage you strike it at. I mean, check out this unstoppable monster of a half volley by Cruz and observe how it rolls off his foot into this epic dip. This is a game where shooting a ball rebounding away from the goal leads to a straight shot trajectory that is much easier to control. And the longer the distance the ball needs to travel en route to target, the greater the chance of having players blocking the keeper's view, and when they see the ball late, they jump late. It's in my opinion one of the most realistic things about long-range shooting in PES, and it tends to invite you to shoot into a crowded box and hope for the best. I also love how a player like Valverde with a long-range shooting trait will apply slight modifications to your manual shot to help squeeze the ball past a fully stretched keeper. Like check out the subtle swerve in the ball's trajectory. So because it's a little easier to score a screamer from a rebounding shot, my favorite long-ranger goal will have to come from an actual dribble on the ball towards the goal. There is a sort of anticipation involved when someone we know can take the shot is looking like he might go for it. When I'm afforded that sort of space, I'll use R3 to push the ball ahead of me to set up a run into my long ranger. You can actually use this final long push to open up a gap between defenders to manually shoot into. Now a goal gets bonus points if my player actually dribbles past defenders on his run before pulling the trigger on his long ranger, and maybe use a skill move a little more complicated than a shot feint before taking a shot. And for an extra challenge, I'd prefer not to shoot into the same direction of my run. So when you think of it, this Cruz goal seems to tick off all the aforementioned criteria for best manual long-range screamer. But my pick for best long ranger actually involves this epic nutmeg Modric pulls off before sticking it into the top left bin. The nutmeg is just timed to perfection, and the manual aim on his weaker foot doesn't get any better. Finally, you probably saw it coming. The number 1 best manual goals I've scored easily belong to the stunningly beautiful acrobatic finish category. For an acrobatic finish to be triggered, the crossing ball needs to land either somewhat behind the player finishing it off, or it could land just next to him at eye level. Playing with manual controls dramatically increases the likelihood of this happening, since assisted crossing defaults to crossing the ball in front of the player, which wouldn't trigger an acrobatic finish. Now I've scored many beautiful game-changing bicycle kick goals ever since I shifted to full manual controls, but I've found the most beautiful finishes to be the ones where the player needs to actually move to the ball and flip it over the keeper. Now bonus points if you score this kind of manual finish as a match winner at home against a completely locked down Legend AI from an utterly impossible angle that you had absolutely no right to score from. So my winner of all around full manual goal of the year actually starts way in the back, with an epic exit and save by Courtois, reminding all viewers of this goal compilation video that keepers are actually quite decent in this game, followed by a series of intricate manual lobs and passes, patiently moving the ball all the way to the near side of the pitch, followed by Mendy's precise manual pass to find Benzema, who inspires Hazard to make this beautiful off-ball player run to the side, then proceeds to score from an impossible angle with the most delicate of touches, looping the ball over Ter Stegen. Just a perfect equalizer in a Champions League knockout match at home against your biggest rival. Utter perfection. Now, before I replay all the final runner-ups and winners, I wanted to give a shout out to the best own goals scored this year. You see, having a game capable of creating good, realistic own goals is a sign of a good game. I'm not just talking about the heartbreaking last-minute goals I scored into my own net. I'm mainly talking about goals the AI scored on my behalf. And while I actually love how realistically deflection goals play out in PES, especially with a ball that obeys the real laws of physics, and you can see that in the ball's deflected trajectory, some of these own goals just look too good. I couldn't find a more intentional looking own goal than this beautiful header the Legend AI scored off a cross. Like, my own strikers wouldn't have done a better job converting. So I'll leave you with a recap of the top 10 winners of each category. Let me know in the comments which of these manual goals resonated the most with you and which kind of goals you'd like to see more of. Thank you for all your support this past year. Make sure you follow me on Twitter for daily PES uploads, and if you liked this video, be sure to share it with others to show them what a real football game looks like. As for my next video, I like the idea of putting together an actual review of eFootball 2022. But it's honestly too broken that I need Konami to pay me to waste my time playing this game to review it. Luckily, I do have a sponsor, and it's not Konami, so hopefully I'm able to put a review together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Good spot, he's seen the run. Real chance! Sticks it away! Ken!
Yeah, I'd call that transition with bite. They won it back and bit hard.